All right, what's up, guys? Anthony here, Special Analysis. Welcome to the video. I want to talk to you about the trade I took today, um, why I took it, and kind of give you some insight to the higher time frame analysis that I use. So I am a absolute huge fan of higher time frame analysis. I think it is extraordinarily important to find high probability setups. Okay, the some of the best trades I take are taken off of levels, off of time frames that are significantly higher than the time frame I'm trading. Right, typical day trading time frame, 5 minute, 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, whatever, whatever it may be, whatever your preference is. Okay, is ultimately what it comes down to. But for me, when I start the process of analyzing higher time frame, you may call me crazy, but I start all the way out, at a weekly chart. Okay. Sometimes a monthly, very rarely, especially if I'm trading contracts and not using a volume rollover chart because the data gets too skewed, it's too old. Um, but a weekly chart, a daily chart, a 4 hour chart, a 3 hour chart. The four and the three are fairly similar. I really only look to see if there's any notable difference or any notable information that I can personally use. The 4 hour has been my favorite time frame for many, many years. I've used the 4 hour for some of my biggest trades that I've ever taken. So let me kind of walk you through it. I'm going to just kind of show you briefly, how this all kind of comes together. So this is a weekly chart, right? Realizing that we trade with contracts that roll over. This is the April 2024 expiration for crude oil. So some of this data is a little irrelevant. If the screen wants to fix itself there, yeah. So, I got a bigger channel structure here to the downside. I've crossed this channel structure. I have an intermediate channel structure, and then I have a short-term channel structure with some identified support. So last week, we tested this area right here. This is last week's candle, and we're selling off. So what have I been looking to do? I've been looking to sell the market because we've just tested notable significant resistance. The last time we tested it, we plummeted. We're at two channel structure junctures here on crude oil. So for me, it's pretty meaningful to stick to what that is telling me. Go into a daily chart here. You can see this is Friday's candle into this level, and now we've been progressively pushing lower. So took shorts yesterday based on this rejection, right? And then today I'm going to show you the 4 hour chart of exactly where this trade transpired. Again, the 3 and the 4 fairly close to one another. I really only examine them if there's any significant differences. But this was back on Friday when we tapped out. This was the support line that I put in. I said, if we're going to go higher from here, we got to stay above these prior highs, really kind of stay above the bodies of these indecision candles here. And we didn't. So, this was yesterday, right? We sold off, so took shorts yesterday. This trend line was previously support, right? So we got some support here. We got some support here. We tested it here. We closed right at it, slightly below it, and then we retested it. And this is what was most important to me, that right here, what was previously support has now proven itself to become resistance. So what was I looking for all day? This. I was looking for price to drive higher into this channel or this trend. Okay? Create a channel. All you got to do is clone it, put it at the absolute high between your two lows. Right? So here's the absolute high. Notice where Friday topped out. Okay? I've been using channels for years. I am classically trained in long-handed analysis. Okay? Like it or not, it works. It works. It's worked since the inception of the stock market. So those of you who want to knock it and use your algorithms and your software and all your stuff, there's nothing wrong with any of that as long as it benefits you. But if you're relying on that solely, you're missing the bigger picture. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. Just telling you the truth. Listen, I have software programs I offer to clients, and I tell them right up front, if you do not understand price action and you do not understand volume, you're going to struggle to find success solely leaning on any piece of software. Okay? Those are two components that you must understand. right? I'm just being completely transparent. So here's the test, right? I'll roll this down to a 5-minute chart. Look at that flawless rejection, okay? Let me zoom it out. Here is that support line, right? It kept testing it, broke it, came back, retested it. So this is proven resistance to the downside. This is proven resistance to the upside. Here is the test of this area. This was specifically what I was looking for price to come into this area between this descending trend line or counter trend line, whatever you want to call it, and this ascending channel structure or ascending trend line. This is what I was looking for. Take it to a 1-minute chart. Guys, look at this. Pull in, bounce around, get one last urge to place the absolute high there, just barely taking out this wick, and we tumble, okay? Now, if you're not comfortable selling into highs, all you had to do was just be like, all right, there's my little tiny setup. Newly appointed resistance in what should be considered a downtrend. Here's the break. Here's the retest. Here's the sell-off. High, lower high, low, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low. The only area we hesitated was right here. Okay? It looks like we're trying to kind of inch a little bit higher here, but still, we're far from breaking in the bigger picture on a 1-minute chart these prior highs. This was the spot, guys. Now, the question is, are you going to wait potentially days sometimes to get exactly what you're looking for? I don't know. That's not a question I can answer for you. You know, I can only tell you that if you're disciplined enough to trade the higher time frame and wait for your intraday setup to transpire based on the higher time frame, you can do really well. Right? Now, there's plenty of intraday opportunities if you want to trade every little nook and cranny of the market. Right? You can. The more trades you take, the more trades you're going to lose. Now, statistically, your winners should outweigh the amount that you win should long outweigh your losses. But the more you trade, the more you are susceptible to taking losses. The less you trade, the higher you qualify your trades, the less you're going to trade, the less losses you're going to endure. And if you noticed, I mean, we literally nailed an absolute high. Friday, we absolute nailed bigger time frame resistance. You know, the weekly chart, guys, tells the story. Right? Right here. 2 channel structures intersecting. Friday, last week, but because of Friday, we pushed right into this. And what am I expecting? Right? I'm expecting to find support somewhere down in this area. Somewhere between, I don't know, call this, I'll even bump it up there a little bit just to include the entire wick. Somewhere between 76.5 and 75.5. So what happens when price gets here? Well, I'm going to look for a bounce. I'm going to look for a bounce, right? Because this may be a great spot to buy. But until I've found some form of support, and if I cut right through this, if I break this low, what am I going to look for? I'm going to look to see that this now becomes resistance, and I'm going to look for support down here. This could tumble all the way through. It could break through here. But because I have all these structures and because I update them daily, I'm able to see the bigger picture, and the bigger picture keeps me out of the dog shit trades as long as I'm willing to wait. And that is the ultimate key to this, guys. If you're not willing to wait and you have to trade to be entertained, then you're going to maybe not enjoy trading as much, right? Because you're going to have this emotional roller coaster. And I'm only telling you because I've lived it, right? I know when I try to force trades, on a shorter term time frame, that sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but the emotions go like this. Whereas when I just dial it back to the big picture, it doesn't mean I'm always right. It just means I'm taking less trades. And when I'm wrong, I'm taking a small loss. And when I'm right, I'm taking a big win. Because, guys, this is a substantial move. Let me grab the ruler here. All right. I mean, here is where we tested. And this is as low as we've come since then. It's 150 ticks. Okay? From this test to the low that we've come to since this test, it's 150 ticks. Right? What am I risking? If I'm willing to buy or sell rather into strength, right? I'm risking what? 15, 20 ticks it went against me. If I want to sell into a correction, the problem with that is normally corrections get retested. Okay? So you have to be willing to leave space on your stop. So if I sold here and I threw a stop up here, I'm risking about 32 ticks. Now again, 32 ticks to over 100 makes a big difference, right? If I include the absolute high, which, guys, this was not hard to see a reversal coming, right? It was actually pretty blatant and obvious that this was the area. But so from this high here to the bottom, we add those extra ticks. I mean, so if you risk 30 to 40 ticks, 20 to 30 ticks roughly, depending on where you entered, 150 plus, right? Say, all right, I like to re-enter at at supply. Okay, so then just draw a supply zone right here and get short here. It's okay. Right? This is the first supply zone. This is the first indecision after the test. Now, if you put this up here and you waited for price to come back up, it never did. So, you'd have to be willing to say, all right, I'm gonna look here for it, or see what price action is doing when you get here. Now, when price action gets here, you can look at order flow, you can look at the book map, you can look at a number of things, volume, all different kinds of things to determine the rotation. But either way, guys, at the end of the day, the higher time frame told the story. I was very confident in this trade because of the break of this very simplistically drawn trend line on the 4-hour chart. I was very confident in shorting the market Monday, yesterday, because of where the weekly chart tested. Right? Unless we blew through this very quickly and aggressively, there was at least a chance that we fall back into some form of support. The support I'm looking at is right here. So if you're not doing your homework before you go into whatever markets you're trading, I trade crude oil for myself personally. I also analyze the NASDAQ, the S&P, and gold, and crude oil, of course, for my clients. I'm trading one singular market because for me, I need to dedicate 2 full screens to all the content that I absolutely need to see to have a full understanding of this market. Right? So it's impossible for me to do that for 4, but I can tether back and forth so I can help folks understand them. And if you've watched my other videos, I walk through rallies, reversals, setups, risk, reward. So it's not that I'm not doing that. I can only focus on so many moving parts at once. And they all know that, as I'm talking my way through it, I'm cycling from one chart to the next, to the next, to the next. But for me personally, because I'm risking substantial money, I trade one market exclusively, right? Because I don't need to, for myself, mix and match. For my clients, I always tell them, pick one or two markets that you really enjoy trading and focus on them. Okay? Study them. Right? So that when I interpret them for you, you go, okay, that makes sense because I saw X, Y, and Z, and now Anthony's putting the pieces together, so I now understand A, B, C. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, you have to understand what's happening, when, where, and why. This afternoon, I understood that there was a pretty good chance that we broke this support, retested it as resistance, sold off, and then pushed back up. Where did we sell off to, guys? Right? Even that part of the reversal was fairly predictable. Notice where we found support. This little consolidative period right here. Now we got a big push away, retest, support, hovered above it, boom, pushed higher. Do you think I'm going to short into this? No. No. I told my clients this morning, if you watch my previous video, hey, listen, we're going to take a dip here, but that could very well set the bottom for the session. Guess what? We took the dip here early this morning, and that set the bottom for the session. And the market has not revisited that level since we talked about it at 8 o'clock this morning. If you guys don't have a full understanding of the entire aspect of what you're doing, then you're guessing. And even when you do have a full understanding, there are still going to be components you don't understand, and that is the risk that is associated with trading. Understanding that risk, doing your very best to be focused on the entire big picture will help you see the market more in depth. Okay? Maybe you belong to a Discord, maybe you trade with somebody else or an analyst or whoever. I don't listen, whatever you do is your preference. I don't care. Okay? I tell folks all the time, they're like, oh, you just want to sell me something. No, I don't. All I want to do is be the very best trader that I can possibly be. And if I can help somebody in the process become their very best version of a trader, then I'm happy to do it and happy to help them. Right? That entails my time, effort, energy, and talent. I need to be compensated for that. I'm fully transparent, guys. That's what it is. I do all these videos for free because I want people to genuinely learn the lessons that took me years to understand. Okay? That's why I do this. I want to help you. Whether you choose to seek paid help from me or you just enjoy my videos, that's totally fine. If you like my videos, I simply ask that you hit the like button, you subscribe to the channel because it helps more folks see my content. But with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you now see the bigger picture perspective that even though you're trading a very small time frame, the bigger time frame will give you the story that you need to understand in order to navigate that small time frame with a great deal of accuracy. So again, if you like this video, if you like my content, if you're learning something, feel free to drop me a comment. I will certainly personally respond to it. If I can help you, reach out to me. If you want to trade with me, fine. You're welcome to join me every single morning. We trade from 8 to 11 New York Eastern Standard Time. Join me. I'll talk you through these 4 markets. I'll give you all my insights. There's plenty of videos you can watch. If you're interested in software, we'll have a conversation if that is beneficial to you. Whatever I can do to help you, I'm happy to help you. So all I ask is if you enjoy these videos, like them, subscribe to the channel so I can help more folks. God bless. I will see you in the next video, and I hope you have a phenomenal day.